Suppose you are a drone bee. Although your body is even bigger than that of a worker bee, you are completely useless. You don't have a long tubular tongue to suck nectar. Nor do you have pollen baskets on your hind legs to collect pollen. And you don't have a stinger to defend the hive. So, you can only survive by relying on the charity of worker bees. However, you do have one unique skill. You can mate with the queen bee. On a sunny and breezy afternoon, the queen bee flies out and begins to release pheromones, attracting drones from her own hive and nearby hives. This behavior is called a mating flight. The queen flies very fast. You chase her with all your might. Many of your companions will die during the flight. Only strong drones like you can catch up with her and mate with her. You think you're lucky, but actually, you're not. After mating, the queen bee forcibly pulls away while you're weakened and flies away quickly, leaving your poor body torn apart. This game plays out among many drones until the queen bee collects enough sperm. Many drones die because of this. Those of you who survive may think it's a happy ending, but it's just the beginning of misfortune, because now you are completely useless and become a true burden in the hive. The worker bees will find various reasons to get rid of you. If food in the hive decreases, they kill you. If the number of bees increases, they kill you. If the weather is too hot today, they kill you. If a queen bee wakes up in a bad mood, they kill you. Even if you're lucky enough to survive, eventually you'll still be expelled and starve to death outside. So, you were reincarnated, luckily as a fertilized egg. Just as the queen is getting old, and the number of bees in the hive increases, then the worker bees will select about 20 fertilized eggs and transfer them to special cells called queen cells. When you develop into larvae, the worker bees will feed you royal jelly rich in various nutrients to help you grow and develop rapidly, and eventually become a queen bee. Your body will be larger than the worker bees, and your abdomen will be especially thick. The first thing you need to do is eliminate other candidates and underdeveloped rivals. 3 days later, you leave the hive, release pheromones, and engage in the only mating flight of your life. After you return, the worker bees will clean out the male's genital organs stuck inside you. You could have started laying eggs right away, but the old queen is still alive. At this point, there are 3 possibilities. First, when there are enough bees in the hive, and the old queen can still lay eggs, then she will leave with half of the worker and drone bees to start a new colony elsewhere. This process is called swarming. The second scenario is that the old queen is too old to lay eggs, so the worker bees will get rid of her. They will gather around her, vibrate their wings rapidly to form a heat ball, and heat the old queen to death. The third scenario, you are merciful and allow the old queen to live alone in a corner of the hive. But she won't live long, because the worker bees will stop feeding her. Now you begin laying eggs and release pheromones to control the entire hive, forbidding them from raising other queen bees and preventing the worker bees from developing ovaries to lay eggs. You can lay about 2,000 eggs a day and keep working for 3 to 5 years before becoming an old queen. Then you face one of the 3 endings mentioned above. You find the queen bee's life too monotonous, so you reincarnate as a worker bee. Of course, you no longer do construction tasks because you are a female with underdeveloped reproductive organs. But aside from reproduction, all the remaining work is almost yours. Please begin your arduous and sealed path of toil. Just released from the cell, your face is pale. Your wings droop from weakness. Nevertheless, you already have your first job. Simply lying in the royal kitchen to warm the larvae inside. Warming the larvae, you can't eat the honey stored in the hive. You can only beg your sisters, because your lower jaw hasn't developed yet. Of course, it's not that miserable. Your sisters will squeeze out a drop of honey from their crop and feed it to you mouth to mouth. During this period, you also work as a cleaning bee, cleaning the hive, ensuring the queen can lay eggs in a clean place. The queen will constantly inspect your work. If not done well, you must redo it immediately. You'll live like this for 3 days, until your mandibles are fully developed. Then you gain the ability to eat on your own. During the following 3 to 12 days, you have to eat a lot. Because your work intensity starts to increase, you become a nurse bee from day 3 to day 5. You start using honey, pollen, and water to make bee bread, and feed it to larvae older than 3 days. By the 5th day, your body can start secreting royal jelly rich in nutrients. But you are not allowed to eat it, because it's food for queen larvae. Then you are sent to feed the queen. Through your mouth, you directly deliver royal jelly into the queen's mouth. During this time, the queen releases pheromones through you to spread to other bees. Through this method, she achieves control over the entire hive. When your royal jelly glands gradually shrink and can no longer secrete royal jelly, and your gut is filled with metabolic waste, you leave the hive for the first time, first flying a circle around the hive to familiarize yourself with the terrain, then finding a grassy patch to empty your bowels, because you are not qualified to defecate inside the hive, since you can't secrete royal jelly. Your work area shifts from the royal kitchen to the hive entrance. The older worker bees just finished collecting pollen and nectar and have returned. Your job is to absorb the nectar, transform it into honey through special enzymes in your body, and pass it to your little partner, who will store the honey in designated honeycombs. Then fan its wings to reduce the honey's temperature, removing the moisture inside, and finally seal the honey with wax. When you are 12 days old, your role changes from feeder bee to construction bee. Since you've always been involved in converting nectar into honey, you've accumulated a large amount of sugar in your body. The wax glands on both sides of your abdomen start developing from bottom to top and form wax scales only 0.1 millimeters thick when exposed to air. You chew the wax scales with your mouth. Once mixed with saliva, they soften into a pliable mass, and you can use it to build and repair the hive. On the 18th day, your wax glands gradually shrink, so your role changes from builder bee to guard bee. Your daily tasks are to clean the hive and ventilate it, as well as throw out sick or dead bees to prevent infections. You then stand at the hive entrance to stop intruders or thieves and protect the safety of the hive. Occasionally, you might even bully drones a little and warn them to behave themselves. When the foraging sisters return with nectar and pollen, you must greet them with a smile. Sometimes, you also allow unfamiliar drones to enter. During the mating season, they serve an important purpose. Of course, giving them a warning is still necessary. Go on in. Aren't hives often targeted by animals stealing honey? Like other kinds of bees, certain birds, wasps or mammals. When the hive is invaded, all members will join the battle to defend the hive. But drones are not included, because they don't have stingers. As everyone knows, your most effective weapon is your venomous stinger. But, unlike wasps, your stingers have barbs. Once hooked into the intruder, your internal organs are pulled out along with it, leading to death. Besides that, you have other attack methods, like surrounding the intruder and rapidly flapping your wings to raise the temperature to heat the intruder to death. This method is called the defensive heat ball, but it also comes at the cost of casualties. If you die in the process, don't expect to be honored as a hero, because your corpse will simply be treated like a garbage bag and thrown out of the hive. Soon you'll be 21 days old. Your role changes to that of a forager bee. Your workplace is mainly outside the hive. You need to collect nectar, pollen, water and other useful materials for the hive. Your lifespan won't be very long. In spring and summer breeding seasons it lasts around 40 to 50 days. During the winter rest season, it can be 5 to 6 months. Your whole life is devoted to the hive. But now, you are waiting for a mission. Suddenly, a fellow bee's waggle dance catches your attention. What is he doing? Crazy, don't talk nonsense. He's passing on information about the location of flowers. So you set off with a group of worker bees to collect pollen and nectar. But real danger is approaching. You're traveling with your companion. Suddenly, he gets attacked by a bird. Now the bird turns and dives toward you. You panic and flee, diving into a dense bush to hide. But you don't notice the spider web in front, and get tangled in it as the spider creeps closer. You struggle with all your might, and willing to die, and finally break free, still shaken from the experience. Hung up. Resurrect one more time. Your suffering isn't over yet. You arrive at your destination without any real danger. But not all nectar can be collected. In summer, when the temperature rises, the nectar in flowers ferments and produces alcohol. If you suck this nectar, you'll get drunk and collapse on the spot. You can only lie on the ground waiting to die. Even if you have a high tolerance and manage to fly back to the hive, the guards at the entrance will drive you away, or even tear you apart on the spot. Because a drunk bee is very aggressive. Even the queen bee could be attacked by you. But that's just an accident. A smart bee like you is sucking normal nectar, collecting pollen and storing it in the pollen baskets on your hind legs. Not only that, during the nectar gathering process, pollen sticking to your body is brought to another flower by you. You accidentally help plants complete pollination. This is called insect pollination. Humans all praise you as a good bee. When you finish your task, bringing nectar and pollen back to the hive, young worker bees will turn the nectar and pollen into honey for storage. When the hive gets too hot, you go out to collect water equal to half your body weight. Half of your body weight, then rapidly flap your wings to accelerate water evaporation, achieving a cooling effect. That day, the hive was fiercely attacked by a group of wasps. After a brutal battle, the bee colony suffered heavy losses. While you were counting casualties, you suddenly saw a familiar figure. The queen bee was dead too. Panic spread among the surviving worker bees. Some directly fled, but you decided to play the role of a superhero. To save the hive, you transferred some fertilized eggs into the queen's chamber. After the incubation period, a new queen bee was born and flew out of the hive to mate. The feeling of turning the tide made you feel ecstatic. Get back to work, you lazy bee.